So Ab is the manager of Atlantic Stockyards in Cookstown, Ontario. He is the 2018 Canadian Livestock Auctioneer Champion and two-time World Livestock Auctioneer Championship semi-finalist. He and his family run a large cow herd, grass yearlings, and background cattle in the yard. Ontario Stockyards is one of the largest livestock auctions in Eastern Canada and has sales 3 days a week selling all classes of large livestock. Our other guest, Scott Dixon, is the co-owner and operator of Atlantic Stockyards, which is Atlantic Canada's largest livestock auction market. Atlantic Stockyards has been operating for over 60 years, with Scott and his wife, Natalie, owning the stockyards for just over almost 2.5 years now. Scott and Natalie have a young son named Leighton, who some of us met here a little earlier again, who they hope will be the second generation Stockyards owner. Scott's life has revolved around agriculture from a very young age. He is currently operating a 400-head beef herd with his father, Stanley, consisting of approximately 50 cow-calf bears and about 300 background feeders. Scott and Natalie are volunteers in various community organizations, including their local steer show and sale, leaders in their local 4-H club, and also have chaperoned the Nova Scotia 4-H Rural Beef Team. So thanks, Ab and Scott, for getting us or being with us here this evening. And for those participants online, just before we get going, just a couple of reminders, events coming up here in the fall. Is on September 4th, Atlantic Stockyards will be holding a sheep sale, selling all classes of sheep. I'm sure Scott will fill us in a little bit more about that as we get going. We also have the virtual Atlantic Fall Sheep Sale, which will be September 18th. So you can check out sheepnovascotia.ns.ca and click on the Atlantic Sheep Sale on the right-hand side for their entry forms and more information about that. And also you saw the first ever Maritime Sheep Conference advertisement up on the day, and to see more information like the agenda, and a reminder that the early bird registration will be September 17th. So without any further ado, I'm going to hand things over to Ab, and he's going to give us a little bit of a rundown about himself, Ontario Stockyards, and a little bit of perspective on the sheep market, and then we'll hear from Scott from Atlantic Stockyards.
Thanks, Brad. Thanks, Ashley, for getting that set up together here. Looking forward to talking to you folks here today with me. So, Ontario, we're about 17 hours away from Halifax. Certainly, we can make it worthwhile coming our way. Let's put who we are a little bit first. So what is Ontario Stockyards? Ontario Stockyards, we're a full-service livestock marketing center right central Ontario. We hold our sales 3 days a week. Some of you may or may not heard. We have transferred ownership. We bought the Stockyards in October. We took 2019. My father and mother-in-law and my fiance and I took it on. So Mark and Cindy Ferrero, they're my in-laws. They have 20 years in the livestock marketing business. They own Brussels Livestock, which is a fairly large sale barn about 2 hours west of us. They also own the Ontario Stockyards, obviously. Between the two barns, they sell about 250,000 head of livestock annually. And then there's Ashley and I, who you can see down there, the good-looking couple there in the corner. So we manage the day-to-day operations. I manage the sales and the staff at the yards on the days, on sale days. Ashley manages the office. So I'm like Brad had mentioned earlier, I was the 2018 Canadian Livestock Auctioneer Champion, and I'm a 2-time World Livestock Auctioneer finalist. Ashley, she's got a university degree in journalism. She's been raised in the livestock auction business, and she knows it like the back of her hand. She's a tough cookie. She's the real boss. I'm the pretty face, I guess you'd say. Why sell your sheep and lambs at the Ontario Stockyards? We're super easy to get to. That's the first thing. We're located 1 kilometer west of the 400 highway, and the 400 highway splits the province of Ontario right down the middle. It goes right from Toronto straight north up into Sudbury. So we're very easy to get to. We have a very modern facility. It was built new in 1994. It's extremely clean. We clean the barn twice a week. Halfway through the week, we clean it, as well as on the weekends. We also sanitize and whitewash pens on a fairly regular basis. We have room to yard about 4,000 head of sheep and lambs on feed and water. We're located only 40 minutes north of the GTA. So that's a big reason right there. Huge lamb and sheep population, people that want to eat that product, and it just a huge as the GTA. And like I said, we're only 40 minutes north of that. When you come to Ontario, it's directly to the end user. We're actually one of the busiest sheep and lamb markets in Eastern Canada, and we're surrounded by plants. So we have one plant, like L&M Meats, for example. They kill about 1,000 pieces a week, and they're only 4 kilometers away from our door. We have 5 major plants within 45 minutes of the stockyards for processing sheep and lamb. Caledon, Ontario, JJ Meats, L&M, all right around the corner from us. Another good reason is all the animals, and it's no different than Scott over at Atlantic Stockyards. All the animals will be fully insured the minute they step right on the truck. So lots of good reasons to send your animals to Ontario. So when you're selling your sheep and lambs at the Ontario Stockyards, when the animals leave the truck, when they back into our dock, they go immediately into feed and water pens. As you can see there's some pictures of the straw pack base outside. Then we bring them inside the morning of the sale, and you can see that picture in the center. All steel pens, lots of room, getting lined up for the sale. We have 12-foot wide alleys, so it makes it kind of low stress handling for the lambs. Lots of room to run around our handlers. Kind of big open spaces, no crowding, just nice low stress. We have big bright auction ring that kind of presents the animals to their fullest potential. We have 2 large skylights right over the ring, as well as LED lights right above, making it, the animals really show themselves off that way. One thing too, this is something we switched when we took over. We don't allow any sort of solid objects for the handlers. So no whips, no prods, no canes. Our handlers are only allowed to use flags or paddles. The rattle paddles, it's just a less aggressive way to move those lambs and direct them in the direction you want to go. So let's talk, that's enough about the stockyards. Let's talk a little bit about our market. So today, I use today's market as an example. I'm not sure out east yet. Scott will be able to touch on that, but we are seeing a pretty large price adjustment happen here in Eastern Canada, simply because the drought in Western Canada. We're seeing tons and tons and tons of Western sheep and lamb come to Ontario, whether it's directly through the plant or through sales. And it's pushing the market down. Kerbani holiday was 3-4 weeks ago. The packers are saying it has been slow. They had a good holiday, but it's been slow since. So we are seeing a bit of a market adjustment, is what I would call it. Still good prices for the lambs in reality, but just kind of a hard pill to swallow after those extreme highs we've seen over the past 4 quarters or so. So let's take a look. So this was today's market report. We did this sale. We started at 9:30 this morning. We were done at 1:30. We had 1,453 animals sold. We sold 1,024 lambs, 358 sheep, and 71 goats. As you can see, there's your market report over to the side, on the right side of your screen. I don't know why the 50 to 64 pound lamb category is in a different box, but anyways, 50 to 64 pound lambs, they averaged 58 pounds at $281.94. So just a fraction of a penny shy of $282, which allows for $163.52 a head. Next category up, your 65 to 79 pound lambs, averaging 73 pounds. We sold 310 of those lambs today. They averaged $248.82. So again, just 0.2 of a penny shy of $249, works out to $181 a head. And then there's kind of the divide. Those light lambs, we've been sending them to the States. We sent about, most of those lambs today in those weight categories would have gone to the States. Again, something that we can do there. We do a lot of charting. Being right on the highway, it's easy to get across the border. So we sent between the two lots, I believe we sent 440 lambs to the States today, most of them in that lighter category. As you got into those 80 plus pound lambs, that's where you started to see things maybe slow up a bit in the market. Simply, again, because some of those colony lambs are coming out of the West, and just they're a little bit of a harder product to push out on the open market right now. As a whole lamb, as a carcass, or whatever, those bigger carcasses are just a little bit tougher to move right now. 80 to 94 pound lambs, we sold 229 of them. 85 pound average at 222 and a half is what I'm going to call that. So worked out to $189.25 a head. And then again, those heavy lambs, 95 to 109, 163 of those lambs, right on 100 pounds on the average for a 204.16. So $204.16 a head. Pretty easy math there. One thing that we really excel at the Ontario Stockyards is selling cull sheep. Again, that L&M meat packers, they're 4 kilometers away from us, have a very, very, very strong cull sheep, I guess you'd call buyer support. Sold 358 of those sheep, weighed 139 pounds at 194 to work out to $269.70 a head. So yeah, the market right now is decent, especially if you're looking at some of those sheep that are doing a lamb and a half or 2 lambs a year. Still decent numbers at that. So what does it cost to sell in Ontario? That's probably a big question we're all asking. So I did a little research. We do sell some lambs there from Nova Scotia. Here's actually a picture of a statement that we had from someone today from Nova Scotia. The trucking is $8 to $15 a head, depending on how many are on the load and who the trucker is and what the situation is. The commission, it all works on a sliding scale. So the more lambs we sell in the ring at a time, the lower your commission is. It gets as low as $5 a head, gets as high as $6.75. So I like to say it's going to average around $6 per lamb to be sold. So your total cost, just for example, this producer had 36 lambs that averaged 70 pounds. So your total cost for a 70-pound lamb with all the deductions, which would be your Ontario Sheep Association, commission, trucking. This person had feed, they stayed the weekend, insurance, and HST. That was all your charges, including tax. So based on today's market report, August 23rd market report, and assuming a $23.41 a head cost, the 70-pound lamb would take you home $158.23 today. So in conclusion, when you sell at Ontario Stockyards, your lambs are trucked on a smooth and they're wide open roads. Very easy trip for those lambs. They can zip right through. They are on feed and water the minute they come off the truck. The sheep and lambs, they're going to be sorted professionally by us. We get there. We start sorting around 7 in the morning. The sale starts at, like I said, 9:30. And then they go right into that big, bright auction ring where we do have a lot of those end users sitting there, a lot of small packers, a lot of small butcher shops. And then, like I said, they're being sold directly to that end user. I think the proof is in the pudding on our end here. We put in a new computer system last September. So I pulled those numbers up just 2 minutes before we got started here. So since the 24th of September, we've sold 19,326 cull sheep, 26,169 lambs, and 2,402 goats. So in the course of 11 months, we've sold just shy of 50,000 sheep, lamb, and goats. So when we run those kind of numbers, we have lots of buyer support to keep those animals moving, and I hope that we can do the same thing for you folks coming out our way. Anyways, I think that's it for my story. We'll save the questions till the end. There's my contact information. Anyone who wants to get in touch with me directly, by all means, don't hesitate to shoot me a text or an email. You can call the office and talk to myself or or Ashley or Cindy or whoever you'd like to in the office. That's it for me, though. It's been great talking to you guys. I hope you guys can see a little bit about what we're doing.
Perfect. Thanks very much, Ab. Appreciate your time as always. And for those who are on the cattle side as well, Ab and Scott both joined us about a month and a half ago for a similar presentation for cattle. So I appreciate these gentlemen taking time out of their evening. So with that, I think we're going to pass hosting duties over to Scott, and he's going to run through his presentation. And after that, as you saw in the chat from Ashley, we'll have some time for questions.
There you go. Okay, very good. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be on here and give a little bit of info about Atlantic Stockyards and what we do with the lambs and sheep. With the beef one we did a few months ago, hats off to Ab. I have a very hard act to follow. But anyway, we'll get going here. Natalie and I bought Atlantic Stockyards 2 years ago, past April. So we've been going with it since then. We've changed a few things. We've moved our regular sales every same day, but we moved the time to 11 a.m. We used to start at 1, but we moved it to 11. And we go along with a sale order of lambs, sheep, goats, bobcalves, dairy, stock cows, feeders, and then call cows. We're the largest stockyards in Atlantic Canada, located in the hub of Nova Scotia, I guess. Yeah, Murray Siding, Carroll. It's just a few minutes off the highway there. We're 5-10 minutes off the highway, so it's very easy to get into. Natalie's chirping behind me here, telling me what to say. So she said we're very central. We're only a few hours from anywhere in Nova Scotia, and it's just a few hours from Prince Edward Island and a few hours from New Brunswick, which makes it very easy for people to get their animals there for 11 o'clock sale. They just bring them in the morning of, and less stress on them. They're just there, and then they're sold. Yeah, so as you saw Ab's numbers, now you see our numbers. Quite different in numbers, but anyway, like we're just Atlantic Canada, so we get 75 to 100 lambs per week. Since Natalie and I have been there, we've had I think we reached 200 one week, but that only happened 1 week, so we're just going by average. And then we just group them in when they come in. They just producers back up to the dock and unload them. We just put them in pens and put a card on the pen, and then myself and some staff members, we just group them based on the size and the condition, and we group them all then before the sale, just before like 8:30, 9 o'clock. So we weigh them all, and then when the sale starts, we bring them up as groups. Our lambs are sold by the pound. It's like anything, it's like groups and uniformity. They like that when they're filmed for order buys. They want as many as they can buy that day when they're there. So you can put lambs in a group. You're going to attract them buyers. You got single lambs coming in. They'll go to the canteen or go use the washroom, or not overly interested. We have 4 to 5 local abattoirs that buy there, not in huge volume, but enough to keep the animals bought up that we have on a weekly basis. Our highest lambs last Thursday was 258, but we averaged right around the 230 to the 240. And like Ab said, that's pretty good money. I always was told as a kid growing up, as a young foal, if you can get $200 a lamb, you're doing very, very well. And we're having lambs selling for more than that now. That can't stay like that forever, because nobody was making any money, in my opinion anyway.